Hello and welcome to Matt's Casual Cooking. Today we're going to be doing something super fun. We're going to be making the ultimate mac and cheese burritos. A very, very fun and kind of a long way to cook dish, but very much worth it. So we're going to go over all the ingredients and how to put it together, and let's get to it. Alright folks, so we're going to go over the ingredients that you're going to need today. Now for starters, you're going to need 16 ounces of elbow macaroni. And I already have them all shredded together. You're going to need 16 ounces of cheddar cheese. Now I like the sharp cheddar. You can do whatever kind of cheddar you like. You can do mild or medium. Just kind of whatever you like. You're going to need 8 ounces of Havarti, and you're going to want to cube that. And you're going to need 8 ounces of smoked Gouda, and you're also going to want to cube that. Don't worry about how thin it is. I had to buy cheese slices instead of like a actual brick of it. So you're also going to need 1.5 cups of milk. You're going to need half a cup of half and half. You're going to need 4 tablespoons of butter. You need 4 tablespoons of flour. Now, you're also going to need, large burrito shells, and I'm using the extra grande for these today. You can certainly, I wouldn't go any smaller than maybe a large on this. You're also going to need an extra 16 to 32 ounces of really your favorite cheese. I'm using cheddar today for it as well. And now for your extras, I'm going to be using chicken and bacon in this as well. And you're just going to want to cut those up. And for your spices, I'm going to be using nutmeg and cayenne pepper. But I'm going to put a link in the description of other spices that go good with mac and cheese that you can definitely use, like basil or marrow-gin or like even ground mustard. So we're going to go over how to put everything together here in a minute. I will see you then. Alright folks, so if you are using chicken and or bacon today for this, what you want to do is go ahead and cook them and just make sure they're done, and then you're just going to set it off to the side for the time being. Now, if you're not using it, we're just going to move on to the sauce then. So I will see you at the sauce. All right, folks. So we're going to start on the sauce. And what you want to do at this time also is you want to start cooking your macaroni just off to the side. And it's not going to matter too much if this is done before the macaroni, so don't worry if this is done beforehand. So what we're going to do first is you want to melt your butter, probably about medium-high heat, and then once it starts to kind of boil a little bit, you want to actually add your flour to it. So go ahead and do that, and I will see you when that happens. Alright folks, so the butter's starting to boil a little bit. Even if you want to just add a little flour, and if it pretty much gets dissolved right away, we're in good shape. So go ahead, just add it in and just kind of spread around. Don't clump it all in one spot. Get as much in. And then all we're going to do here is you're just going to want to stir it together, and the flour is going to form into a clump. And we can do that right quick because then we'll move on to the water. So once you have it well combined, and you can kind of see the flour has already absorbed pretty much all the butter here, go ahead now and add your milk and your half and half. All right. Now just continue to whisk it together until the mixture starts to boil. Then once that happens, you're going to want to get your first bowl of cheddar, Gouda, and Havarti out so we can move on to the next step. So I will see you when that happens. Alright folks, so I misspoke before. I just didn't mean when the milk starts to boil. It's actually going to start to thicken up a bit. I'll make a note of that when I said it because I forgot what I was saying for 2 seconds. So once it starts to thicken up, and you will start seeing it boil a little bit, what you want to do is just grab like a handful of the cheese and just add it in there a little at a time. We just want it to melt nice and slow into the roux. So go ahead and do that, and then once it's all nice and combined, and you will want to really stir this kind of constantly, because if not, even on the lower temperatures, sometimes you can get a lot of burning on the bottom, so we really don't want that. So once that's done, we'll move on to the next step. So I will see you then. Alright folks, so you can see our cheese is done, and you can see it's just nice and creamy. I went ahead and added some nutmeg, and that's what you want to do here at the end when it's pretty much done. Now I've turned this to low, or you can turn it off to do it. There's going to be enough heat, and what you want to do is just add a little of your spices. I wouldn't go necessarily more than like half a teaspoon on each one, because obviously some are going to be more potent than others. And what you want to do is just go ahead and stir it together. And like I said, the noodles aren't done, but once they are done, go ahead and drain them and add in your cheese and your meat if you're using it, and add it together, and then we'll actually move on to the main attraction. So we'll see you. Alright folks, so you can see we've got our station set up for making the burrito. We've got our mac and cheese, our burrito shell, so you got it on a cutting board. Don't necessarily want to do this on your counter if you don't want to. And kind of off here to the right, you can see I got a pan, and I currently have it lined with some cheddar cheese here at the bottom. So all we want to do here is take a ladle or spoon or whatever you got, add in your mac and cheese. I don't necessarily want to overdo it too much. Clean that up. I think that's pretty good. Toss that. And then all you're going to do is we're going to fold it. And you want to kind of hold that in. And then you want to fold that over. Yeah, kind of messed up a bit. Yeah. Okay, and that's pretty good. So I'm just going to set it same side down for the time being. Now for the cheese, I've turned this to medium. If you need to turn it to medium high, what we're looking for, just for the cheese to really kind of start melting, you don't want to turn it up too high because you don't want to burn the cheese on it. So then once it creates just a nice layer of cheese, we'll move on to the next portion. Alright folks, you can see it's bubbling pretty good, and you can kind of see it start to brown here at the bottom. That's really what we're looking for. So go ahead and take your burrito, go ahead and set it on there, and you are going to want to really kind of scrape down hard and add your cheese. Now if you have a bigger pan, you can add more cheese to it. But part of the reason, just kind of let it sit there for a minute, kind of wrap around and kind of dry on there. This kind of, you're going to have to kind of scrape it off the bottom. That's okay. Because once the cheese is off the heat, it will harden very nicely. And then what I'm going to do is just put this on a plate. It wants to come up for some air. Can be a little frustrating. Pretty big burrito. All right. So you can see we got a nice crust on it. Now mozzarella does work a bit better for this, but I do like some cheddar on it as well. So once you're done with your other ones, we're going to move on to the end. So I will see you then.